In this lecture, I'll show you how to create a message box. So if you want to follow along, open up the message box file in the resource section for this lecture. All right, well, let me start off by first showing you what the end result would look like. So I have a button on the page that's labeled Clear All Target Messages. And when I click on it, I want the messages in the F column as well as the one in D11 to go away. But first I want to have a message box that appears, asking people if they're sure they actually want to perform this action. So when I click on the button, you see there's my message box. Do you really want to clear the messages? If I click on no, of course it'll close. Nothing will happen. But if I click on yes, you see the messages in the F column as well as D11 have gone away. So this is what I want to show you how to do. All right, so first let's go ahead and switch over to Visual Basic. I'll do that by hitting the Alt F11 key on the keyboard. And in Visual Basic, inside of Module 1, you'll find that I've started for you a Clear Messages subprocedure. All right, so in the example, you saw that the messages cleared based off of what someone chose in the message boxes. If they chose no, nothing happened. If they chose yes, then it cleared. So it's based off of their response. So the first thing that I'll do is I will declare a variable called response, and I'm going to declare it as a byte. Now the reason why is you'll remember when someone clicks on yes, that's actually a value of 6. And when someone clicks on no, that's going to return a value of 7. And 6 and 7 are small numbers, so that's going to be a byte data type. All right, next I want to set up my message box. I'll just add in one more line there, and then I'll type in that response is going to be assigned, and it's going to be assigned whatever someone chooses, either yes or no from the message box. So the value of the message box. So I'll type in MSG BOX for message box and hit space. Now this is going to be a pretty long line of code, so what I'll do is use my line continuator to go down to the next line. This really should all be on one line, but I know how long this is going to be, and it's going to actually go off screen. So I'm just going to use the line continuator to wrap around this line of code. And if you haven't used it before or seen the lecture, there is a lecture in this course on the line continuator. All right, so next I have to put in what the message box is going to say, and it's going to say, do you really want to clear the messages? And you just have to make sure that's inside of double quotes because it's text, comma, and the next argument here is for buttons. Now, I don't want just an OK button. I want a yes, no button. So I'm going to type in VB, yes, no. That'll give me those two buttons. And actually something else. I want that message box to pop up with a question mark. I want it to be a question message box. So I am also going to add in, and I'm literally using a plus sign there, VB question, and that's going to change it to a question message box. All right, I'll type in a comma, and then next I will put in the title for the message box. If I don't put in a title, then it'll just say Microsoft Excel up at the top. All right, so my title here will be Clear Target Messages. And before I go any further, I'm just going to go ahead and run this to make sure that the message box is working. Yep, it looks good. I've got my title there of Clear Target Message. I'll add in an S there for messages. It's a question message box, and I've got my yes and no buttons. All right, perfect. Let me go ahead and head back to Visual Basic. And I'll just throw in an S real quick. All right, so the message box pops up, but now I need to tell VBA what to do if someone selects yes, because right now those buttons aren't doing anything. So I will add in another line of code here. I'll hit enter a couple times, and I'll actually move up my screen a little bit so it's easier to see. So I'm going to be adding in an if statement here. I'm going to say if the response is 6, which means yes, then clear those ranges. So I'll type in if response equals 6, then, and you notice again I'm typing in lowercase there, so when I hit enter, everything capitalizes. I know I'm typing things in and spelling things correctly. So I want two different ranges to be cleared. I want F5 through F8, and I also want D11 to be cleared. So I'll type in range F5 through F8, period, and then I want to choose clear contents. All right, I'll do the same thing with D11. And then last but not least, I want to end my if statement. All right, I'll head on back to Excel to test this out. Now I cleared my messages to begin with, but just for an example, I'll add in some fake information here. Remember it said targeted and whatnot. I'm just adding in something for example. And I'll click on the button there. Do you want to clear the messages? I'll click on no first just to test that out, and that works fine. Now I'll click on yes, and it clears those ranges. All right, so in the resources section of this lecture, I've included an extra exercise that you can do on your own. So try it out and see if you can create a functioning message box.